Hey Explorers, this episode was brought to you by Anchor.fm. It's the distribution service that we use to get this podcast to you. And to be honest, it's great. It's free. There's tons of creation tools that let you edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. They upload it to everything, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and tons of others. You can even make money with no minimum listenership. So it's got everything you need in just one place. So download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Ow. Fuck. Welcome back, rules as written. Today we're talking about fighter style. We did that last time.
Yeah, we did
it twice in a row.
Yeah, original jokes.
So fighters. Fighters are the most popular class.
Yeah, and it's quite
D&D.
easy. It's quite easy to see why.
Well, let's find out why then, shall we?
I mean, even in the name, I feel like you don't even need to know anything about them.
I think-
Like, what do they do?
They
fight
fight.
stuff.
When I say most popular class, it's most popular classed in the Adventurers League, which is kind of like competitive D&D. If I was to sum it up in a sentence. So this is like for people who really like optimal builds, human fighter I think is the most popular combination.
Get a lot of damage output.
Yeah, fighters do just do the most amount of damage really, I think.
Although we haven't found that they're very popular with new players in our personal experiences.
I think they don't have much personality.
I think that's kind of why it doesn't seem super special.
Yeah, I think new players, like, they kind of gravitate to druids, warlocks.
Yeah, something
Is
that
there
sounds
another
a little
one?
bit more special. Maybe sorcerer.
Not many new players play sorcerer. I think sorcerer is also a bit too generic.
Okay.
From my experience at least, warlocks and druids are the most popular for new players. I think there's a very clear identity with them.
Yeah.
It's like, I am nature, or I am Cthulhu's blood.
Maybe paladins too, because it's like...
Yeah, you see the old paladin, I'd say it's about the same. I'm trying to think of like all the players I've had. There's definite standouts with druids and warlocks.
So here we can teach you all about the hidden greatness locked within the fighter build.
It's if you're the type of person that's kind of confident in D&D now and you're ready to paint your own picture on a character, create a whole new flavorful character just for you, this is the way to do it.
Yeah, and if we ever get to talking about multi-classing, fighter tends to be a pretty good one to choose.
Yeah, because they just kind of like lift up any other class with more damage.
Yeah, masters of none, but also great at everything.
So what have we got to start with? If we're building a quick and dirty fighter, what kind of stuff do we need?
So you're gonna get your 1d10 hit dice.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, very much
good.
on the high end. The only thing that's higher would be barbarian, right?
Yeah.
And then there's your hit points, which would be 10 plus your constitution modifier. And you're proficient in all armor and shields.
Just everything.
Yeah.
Anything else? Weapons?
Your weapons will be simple and martial.
So all weapons.
So all weapons. Yeah, but they had to spell it out. So.
Does that mean lances and nets? They're special. We should look into that.
Those are categorized as special weapons, and we did an episode with that included.
Alright. Tools?
None. Yeah.
Idiot.
Build shit.
So, I mean, it's as you would expect, really. Take a bit of a beating, deal it out as well.
Yeah, and your saving throws will be strength and constitution.
Yeah.
The fighting ones.
I mean, I guess you could pour into dex if you really want to go for a finesse or bow type fighter.
There are options for that.
Yeah, there are options for that.
You have such a wide variety of proficiencies and abilities that you could definitely do that.
Yeah, definitely. And lastly, skills.
So you get to choose two from acrobatics, animal handling, athletics, history, insight, intimidation, perception, and survival.
That is a real wide range.
Just kind of a hodgepodge of
I'm not sure why
stuff.
animal handling's in there.
War horses? Like cavalry?
I guess Cavalier. Cavalier is a type of fighter, I think.
Right? So...
Yeah. But also...
acrobatics? Yeah.
Acrobatics, I can kind of see. Like, you're
Flip
ducking
yourself
and
into
diving
combat.
through... Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of a stretch.
Real
But you
hodgepodge.
get 2, which isn't too bad.
Yeah.
It's not great. There's lots of variation.
Yeah, definitely the most random assortment, so
Yeah, that we've seen so far.
make that work, yeah.
So one of the key parts of a fighter is the fighting style of the fighter, which basically means you choose how you want to play your character in game. So the first one is Archery, which you gain a +2 to attack rolls you make with ranged weapons.
Yeah,
It makes
so
you a
can-
bit better at archery.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you'll do if you want to lean into the kind of more ranged combat stuff.
Yeah. It's just kind of a flat bonus. It's cool. It's neat to have. The other kind of thing is defense, which is another flat bonus. You just get 1 AC.
Yep.
If your fighting style is
more defensive.
not being hit.
I don't like getting hit.
What's after defense?
You got Dueling, which is a fun one. This is while you're wielding a melee weapon in one hand and no other weapons, you get +2 bonus to damage rolls with that weapon.
That's pretty good. So as long as you're just holding one weapon in one hand. Yeah. So no two-handed weapons, nothing like that. Then you get a +2. It says you can still use a shield though. Doesn't say you can't use a shield, I mean.
Yeah, so you might get that if you have a shield, or, like we hinted before, if you multi-class.
Perfect. Following on from that is great weapon fighting, which is a bit of an odd one. It's very wordy. When you roll a 1 or a 2 on your damage dice for an attack that you're wielding with 2 hands, any attack, two-handed attack, you can re-roll that dice, but you must take the new one, even if it's a 1 or a 2.
Yeah, so this only applies to two-handed weapons, and it's interesting because it's not
And
like
versatile weapons.
And versatile weapons, right? But you have to be holding it with 2 hands to have the benefit.
Yeah.
And it's not like a flat bonus. It's more of like here's another thing that you have to remember sometimes.
Yeah, it's not really something you can use actively. None of these are. But the next one is protection.
Protection, this one's kind of fun. If an ally near you gets attacked within 5 feet, then you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attacking roll.
Yeah, so you can basically, if you're base to base with one of your mates and a monster attacks them, you can get down Mr. President them.
Get down!
And yeah, they get disadvantage on the attack roll. I like that one because it's like an active choice to use it.
Yeah,
And
it is a
if you're-
choice.
If you're bunched up, then you can you have to make decisions. I like things like this.
It introduces tactics.
Yeah, exactly. The rest are just kind of you are better at the thing, but protection adds choice.
And the last one is you are better at the 2-weapon fighting. So 2-weapon fighting is if you want to dual wield, which can be fun. You have 2 swords instead of 1.
It's pretty dope.
Then you can add your ability modifier to the damage of the second attack.
So you're basically making 2 normal weapon attacks.
Yeah.
Because normally you would just roll the damage dice for the second weapon attack,
Yeah.
but this time you're just making 2 normal weapons. That's cool,
You
I
can go
guess.
a little bit
Nice.
more berserker.
Yeah.
More damage.
We just kind of spend this podcast shit talking all the classes. don't we?
Here's all the things that are wrong with it. It's what it is.
This is kind of like unlike the previous 4 classes we've said, fighter doesn't really have so much a defining feature. I mean, you could say it's the fighting style, you could say it's the action surge, you could say it's the extra attack because you get dicks amount of them.
Yeah, Masters of None just kind of making everything a little bit better at combat.
Yeah, you're just solid. So before we get into the action surge, second wind.
So you can use a bonus action to regain hit points equal to 1d10 plus your fighter level. And you can do that once every short or long rest.
Cool.
Yeah. That sounds like a little bit of a dungeon crawler ability.
Yeah, that definitely is.
When it's like each...
Once you've used all your hit dice,
Yeah.
you can still go on a little bit longer.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, it's quite nice, especially if you don't have a healer in the party.
Yeah.
It definitely, if you want to build a more tanky fighter.
Yeah, it
definitely
probably is one
helps.
of those things that just adds up if you're doing a lot of dungeon crawling with short rests rather
Yeah,
than like
yeah, totally.
single big battles.
That's pretty much self-explanatory. I think we're going to blaze through the fighter pretty quick today. Action Surge is the next one.
Yeah, this is the like big fighter thing.
Yeah.
I guess. So Action Surge at 2nd level, you push yourself beyond normal limits for a moment. You can just take one additional action on your turn. So that's a whole action, not just like an attack. It's you can have one additional action, and that could be powerful.
Yeah, there's versatility there.
Right. So like we'll talk about when we talk about extra attack, which shouldn't be a new thing yet, because everyone gets one. You have that extra attack on top of your Action Surge.
Yeah. So you can get your extra attacks when you're using an Action Surge. Now fighters, we'll get onto extra attacks. Fighters are the only class that gets more than one. They end up with
4.
4.
So you get 4 at level 17, or at 20th, sorry. And if you use your Action Surge,
You attack 8 times.
you get a little 8 attack thing.
It's horrific.
And if you're doing 2-weapon fighting, well, forget about it, right?
Christ.
Yeah,
You
the
can't
damage
stack-
output can be insane on these.
The thing is, at level 20, you get 2 Action Surges. However, you can only use it once on the same turn. So over 2 turns, you can deal out 16 attacks.
Yeah, you just get like double your normal damage output, which is already insane.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah.
Although it's not to be underestimated how versatile it is. I've had people use this extra action just to dash. To
Yeah.
get out of the way of things that have saved their skin before.
Yeah, because it's an action, so you can do all kinds of things with this.
There's so much, also again, as always, room for like flavor and outside the box thinking.
Yeah, definitely can get you out of a tricky situation.
So that Action Surge comes in at level, this is you at level 2. At level 2 you already have second wind, Action Surge, and your fighting style. So you're pretty beefed out. This is one of the reasons why it's so popular, I think. Because a fighter is quite even, but also a bottom heavy class.
Yeah.
Like you have a lot of things from the get-go.
Yeah.
Unlike some other classes which take until like 5th level to probably wind up.
Yeah, their progression might be, especially if you don't get spellcasting very early on. or
Yeah, if you're
anything.
getting spellcasting at level 2 or God forbid 3.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can totally see why fighters are very popular.
And you also get your regular ability score improvements at 6th, 8th, and 12th, 14th, 16th, and 19th.
Yeah, the same 4 as others. That's 2 for 1 ability or 1 for 2 abilities.
And at 3rd level, you get to choose your martial archetype.
So this is like your circles, your domains,
Yeah.
your whatever you want. This is how you spin your character. So
Yeah.
there's a few of them that are pretty interesting. They're quite different. They're quite varied. I think one to highlight is the Battle Master. I think that is a very cool one.
That definitely changes how you play quite a bit.
Yeah, we won't go into it too much, but if you guys want some homework, read up on the Battle Master. He's pretty beefy.
There's a lot of variety with these too. Like you can have ones that give you spellcasting with like Eldritch Knight.
Yeah.
The Battle Master,
There's-
which is more maneuvers.
Yeah,
based.
Cavalier is like horse-mounted combat, although I think they've changed that more in 5th. So yeah, that's the martial archetypes. After that, you only get 2 more things. The extra attacks that we talked about, you get 3 extra attacks leading to 4 attacks at level 20, which again is another disappointing level 20 ability.
Yeah, just
I mean, it's kind of fun for
just
completion's
one
sake.
more of the same thing that you've been dealing with.
But the thing is, that thing that you're doing is so good that it's already broken when you have 3, and then you add in a little extra. And then
Yeah.
one more, it's just like, I feel the shit-eating grin that some people have when they're like, oh yeah.
Yeah, you need to bring more dice.
So, extra attack, that's pretty self-explanatory. And the last one...
Indomitable. So at 9th level, you can re-roll a saving throw that you fail, but you have to use the new roll after you fail it.
Again, leans into what the fighter is. It's all about contingency, I think.
Yeah.
If one attack misses, don't worry, I've got 3 more.
So you've got 2 of those from the get-go at 9th, and you'll get 1 more at 13th and another at 17th.
So by the time you reach level 9, you've seen everything this character has to offer.
Yeah.
outside of your
Martial archetype.
your martial archetype will have some extra things. But you've gone through pretty much everything else. After that, you're just stacking more things.
Yeah.
What do you think of fighters? You're playing a fighter.
Fighter multi-class.
Yep.
So, fighter for me, I think. We also play with a character who is a straight-up fighter. Fighter for me can go into the direction of just, you do a lot of damage. And that's your thing.
Yeah.
Doing lots and lots of damage. And be prepared for a lot of people to wait for you to do a lot of dice rolls. But multi-classing gives you a lot of really interesting abilities to kind of play with, to try to make something more interesting out of another character that you're trying to make.
Yeah, I get the feeling it's one of those things that you tie to the martial archetype. You choose a good martial archetype, and if you're multi-classing, you're kind of pinning it to that more than just being a fighter, because a fighter is such a blank slate.
Yeah, and things like, it's very general what this can benefit. So if you have things like extra attack or action surge, those are awesome for anybody to use, right? If you had that with like tied with another class,
Yeah.
there are few classes where that couldn't benefit.
Yeah, I mean, an action surge being able to, I mean, just with it, they're like, the possibilities are endless, aren't they? Action surge is so good.
Yeah, and it's not bad having all those proficiencies too.
It's just solid.
Yeah.
I'm not sure there is even too much more to say about the fighter. Do you have anything to add?
They're kind of just the base ingredient to a lot of like D&D classes, I think.
It's more good stuff.
Yeah.
Level after level.
It's vanilla ice cream. You can add that to like a whole lot of things and it'll work.
But don't be like afraid to create your own identity out of it as well. There's also samurai is one of the martial archetypes. Cavalier, I think, could be. There are like personalities that could be attached to this. You can be very honorable. You can be like this outrider.
Yeah, because you're not straight
You
up
can be
like
an
a
old
paladin.
general. Yeah.
So it doesn't make any assumptions about your... It's also, one of the fewer ones that are like, it doesn't make any assumptions about your moral compass or your kind of personality even.
Yeah, it's a complete, as I've said a billion times this episode, blank slate. And that's pretty cool. Like we said, it's definitely can be intimidating to some new players. It may feel a bit directionless, especially when they're dipping their toes in this whole new world of D&D. But once you've got your feet grounded a bit, there's a lot of fun to be had with a fighter.
If you want to learn about the action economy, this is a good class for that.
Yes, you will learn economy.
Yes, you learn out of necessity.
So, I think that's it. Do you have
Yeah,
anything to add? Extremely short episode.
that's fighter, baby.
Yeah,
Do with it what you want.
he's a good one.
Fight stuff.
All right, we will see you guys next episode. We'll have a bit of a longer. Who's up next? What have we got next?
Let's see. So after fighter, we've got monk.
Monk. I have not played with a monk in years, actually.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to diving into the monk.
It's gonna be a special one.
That's pretty cool. But until then, see ya.
Goodbye.
Au revoir.
Book slam.